M&A Advisor is pleased to be joined now by Bob Stefanowski, CEO, DFC Global, a Lone Star company. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your company and what you do.
So we're a consumer lender. We've got about 1,000 branches across the world. We're big in the U.S. and Canada. I've got a big presence in the United Kingdom, and we try to be a socially responsible lender to consumers that need money.
And tell us about your relationship with Winchester.
I've known Cesar and the team for a long time. We did a lot of great work with him at 3i private equity firm, and most recently he's been very successful in helping us sell some companies at UBS.
And what would you say differentiates cross-border M&A from domestic?
I think it's the culture. You know, especially in the UK, although we speak the same language, the culture is very, very different. People's attitudes, people's sensitivities, both in investigating a deal and probably more importantly, after you close, trying to integrate the target and deal with some of the personalities and cultural issues is very, very challenging.
If you could touch on that briefly, the cultural issues, here versus there.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm an American and I'm a direct American. We tend to say what's on our mind. In the UK, it's a little bit more genteel. You hear the phrase, the elephant in the room. A lot of times things aren't spoken about. So I try to find myself always balancing, try to get to the solution, but also be polite and sensitive to the culture.
And then vice versa.
Vice versa, yes.
So the challenges, so not as direct there as here. What works here doesn't necessarily work there.
Correct.
And you don't really, I mean, you know that now from years and years of experience, but that's not something a lot of corporations would know.
It's not. I mean, I lived in the UK for 7 years. It took me 5 years to figure it out, and I'm still learning. But you think with the same language, you'd think it'd be the same. It's very, very different.
Okay, and if I could ask you, I mean, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but if you could look at the forecast for M&A transactions, what do you see as far as on the horizon, as far as?
I think it'll continue to explode. You look at what GE's just done in terms of divesting financial services. A lot of the regulated entities like UBS and the other banks, due to regulatory pressure, will be selling pieces of their business. There's a ton of capital out there. There's a ton of hedge funds. So I think, if anything, there's going to be more and more going forward.
Well, that's good news. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.